Let me start my talk the way I started this morning, with a cup of tea and a newspaper. But let's imagine that this is not a newspaper made of paper, but a website. Let's imagine that we have a website that tracks topics, that identifies new topics, and that is capable of recommending those stories to me that are interesting. To do that, I would like to use machine learning. And in order to use machine learning, first what I need to do is start collecting data. So if I were to collect structured data, say customer data, who bought what, which customers do we have, where do they live, I would use a relational database management system. But what if I'm really into collecting lots of data, like massive data, as in cannot be stored on a single computer, cannot be processed in serial? Well, the first idea that comes to mind is use multiple machines. But if you use multiple machines, you run into a few problems. First thing is you run into machines failing. You run into developers that are not capable of writing scalable applications. Luckily for us, there is a project out there at Apache that has solved most of these problems. It's called Apache Hadoop. It comes with failover and with parallel on Rails. To do machine learning, we first like to understand what is it. It's not really artificial intelligence, but it's more learning from nature and learning from events. If we go back 1,000 years or even further, we have Archimedes sitting in his bathtub, and what nature does is generate data, namely a bathtub overflowing. Archimedes, as a regular scientist, reacts by generating a model for nature. Machine learning isn't any different. Machine learning simply generates models for nature, only that now nature generates data in the form of texts, emails, news articles, in the form of proteins, DNA sequences. All of the examples involve a lot of data. So we need some sort of means that can cope with all that data. One project that has the goal of scaling up machine learning is Apache Mahout. It scales in 3 dimensions. First is community, because you want to discuss your problems. Second is license, so it should be commercially friendly and permissive. Third is in terms of data, of course. So what can you do with it? If you go back to our example, you can group items by similarity, say news articles by their topic. Next, you can classify items into predefined categories. The most well-known example for that is spam and ham emails. Another example would be classifying news articles into categories like sports, politics, or miscellaneous. Then you can build a recommender system. You know that from Amazon when you buy a book. But what you could do as well is recommend places where people should go based on where they went last year. Or you can have a look at shopping lists. You can see what people usually tend to buy together, then put these items very far apart in your shop so people have to go through all the lines. Why should you go for Mahout? Well, first of all, you have proven code that runs in production that is developed by great and amazing developers. So you don't have to reinvent this wheel. Second, Mahout, as with every Apache project, comes with a vibrant community. Because let's face it, machine learning problems are not easy to solve. So you would like to have someone to talk to discuss your problems with, to go to some mailing lists and get input. And if you're on those mailing lists, discussing your problems, submitting bug reports, submitting feature requests, submitting code, you will end up becoming part of the community. Usually you become part of the community earlier than you expected. So what I want you to do after this talk is go out there, go onto one of the mailing lists and start working on hard, interesting problems. Start helping us with our project. Finally, there's a little bit of advertisement in the slides. There will be a conference on scalability topics in June this year. It'll be actually on the 7th and 8th of June, not 6th and 7th. That's directly before the Berlin Linux Tag. So if you want to be here and want to hear about all those interesting topics on Hadoop, on Lucene, NoSQL, go there. Thank you.